The Culture Blaster
The Mark Thompson Show
is on the way in. Yes, Michael Snyder, I believe he's here and ready to rock and roll with all the movies and the streaming options that are available this weekend. And he'll save you a lot of time and tell you which ones are the good ones and which ones you can just let go. He comes and goes on a rainbow. Michael Snyder, everybody. Hi, Michael.
Hey, Kim. Hey, Kim.
Hi.
Hey, Kim.
Welcome aboard.
Boy, after a half hour with Alvala and Shore, I feel like my IQ jumped up a few points, you know?
Yeah, they're super smart, both of them. It's great to talk to them. Yeah.
I know. So P.D. Hegseth wants to bring disciplinary shark attacks back to the military, right?
I know. You ready for that?
I missed the good old days when shark attacks were the province of real sharks rending real flesh with real sharp teeth. I mean, let's see Hegseth deal with that, right?
I don't know. They're just so mean. They're there for the, if there's a mean policy, they'll find it and bring it back.
I know.
Mm-hmm.
Before we get to the movie reviews and talk a little bit about TV,
Yeah.
I need to go on record about how incensed I am at the way South Park has been portraying me, Kim. They've been suggesting that my smooth complexion is the result of Botox, and that I'm never seen without my beret because it's stapled to my scalp. Okay. They're right about the beret, but I do not use Botox. It's sheep placenta injections, people. Come on, get it right.
No. Yeah, Kristi Noem, boy, she really took a beating from South Park. And, I think it's well-deserved.
I loved every second of it.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of loving every second, let's get to the movies. And I want to lead off with Weapons. I'm not going to say we're in the golden age of horror movies, but Weapons is another smart, original, and thoroughly impressive addition to the genre, along with Sinners, Together, Companion, Bring Her Back, Dangerous Animals, and more. A lot of really great, smart horror movies this year. Now, a follow-up to director-screenwriter Zach Cregger's first film, the chilling suburban bed and breakfast nightmare Barbarian, Weapons launches into this nerve-wracking madness on an ordinary night when every student but one in an elementary school class disappears at the same time. I mean, they just up and leave. But where do they go? Did they run off to join a prepubescent unit of ICE? Maybe. I don't know. Anyway, there's no more age limit. Anyway, the parents are freaked out. The cops are flummoxed, and everybody decides that the teacher of that class must have had something to do with the vanishing, or she must know something about it. The teacher, who is tormented by what happened, and by the way, likes to drink a bit, is played by Julia Garner of Ozark and The Americans and Inventing Anna.
Okay.
Of course, she's currently the Silver Surfer in the Fantastic Four First Steps, but this is a much more grounded part for her to play, except for the horrifying aspects of the situation. So, against the wishes of the school principal, played by Benedict Wong, she decides to investigate the missing kids on her own by speaking to the one who didn't disappear that night. Garner is terrific. Josh Brolin is also in great form as the father of a missing student. He decides to do his own sleuthing, and he and the teacher get more than they bargained for when the fate of the children comes to light. Weapons finds the sweet spot where folktale meets urban legend. One of the coolest things about it is that Cregger tells his story from multiple points of view, like Rashomon style, the Kurosawa film. And that adds to the fun and the suspense. By the way, the cast includes Alden Ehrenreich, Amy Madigan, and June Diane Raphael. I kind of love that Marvel movie stalwarts Garner, Wong, and Brolin are all in this thing. I mean, it's like the first line of a joke. The Silver Surfer, the Sorcerer Supreme, and Thanos walk into a horror movie. I know the joke goes nowhere from there, but, it made me think of that. So any plot holes, and there are one or two, can be forgiven. I have to say, as a fright fest and a mystery, Weapons slays. It's dynamite, and it's in theaters.
Okay, you like this one. It's a go. Let's go to it.
I think so.
Okay.
It's been over 20 years since the Disney studios hit pay dirt with Freaky Friday.
Yeah.
That's the 2003 mother-daughter mystical brain-switching comedy starring Jamie Lee Curtis as Tess the mother,
Mhm.
and then Disney teen queen Lindsay Lohan as Anna the daughter. You know, actually, it's more like 22 years, but who's counting? Anyway, it's
Before
all
you
too evident.
before you move in, I want to ask you, did you like the first one? Because I thought the first one was kind of cheesy.
I thought it was okay. I mean,
Okay.
you know, for what it was, right?
Yeah.
I thought it was okay.
All right.
But, you know, proof of concept and previous success holds sway in the boardrooms of Hollywood. And the idea of reuniting the currently hot
Mhm.
and awards-decorated Curtis with former Wild Child Lohan to make a Freaky Friday sequel had to be too tempting to resist. So, Freakier Friday. In Freakier Friday, Lohan's Anna has given up her youthful dreams of rock stardom to work at a label at what appears to be an artist liaison position where she's dealing with a mega popular female singer-songwriter, think Taylor Swift or Olivia Rodrigo. Anna is also a single mom of rebellious teenage girl Harper, played by Julia Butters, who is feuding at school with British exchange student Lily, played by Sophia Hammonds. And Lily is like a snobby, mean girl type, but her single father, Eric, played by Manny Jacinto of The Good Place and The Acolyte, is a celebrity chef and just happens to be planning to marry Anna. So there's going to be potential familial discord there, right?
Right.
As for Jamie Lee's Tess, she's a grandma. She's married to husband number 2, played by, you know, Silver Fox Mark Harmon, and she's working as a psychotherapist / podcaster, which doesn't prepare her for another mystical brain switching. Okay, this one is not Anna switching with Tess. Instead, Anna switches with Harper and Tess switches with Lily, which means hijinks will ensue and our stars will get another chance to mug and prance in amusing fashion as the wedding. You see where this is going, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so the wedding of Anna and Eric is violently opposed by both of these sniping daughters, etc. Stephen Tobolowsky and Rosalind Chow show up, as does Chad Michael Murray, who reprises his role as Anna's helpless and hapless boyfriend from Freaky Friday. Director Anisha Ganatra and screenwriter Jordan Weiss keep the plate spinning, and the cast, particularly Curtis and Lohan, do all the rest of the heavy lifting. Like Freaky Friday, Freakier Friday is, and here we go, good of kind. You know, it's not my particular cup of tea. And it did have what we used to call that wrote itself feeling, like, oh, it wrote itself. And we now, of course, we ascribe that to Chat GPT, but it is, get ready, it is not terrible. That's right, not terrible. Michael Snyder, The Mark Thompson Show. Nothing for the annals of cinema history, but Freakier Friday is a harmless, generally cheerful diversion for its escapism-hungry audience. It's in theaters. By the way, on a personal note, my dear friend Ellen Vieira, one of the best makeup artists in Hollywood, does her usual 5-star job on the likes of Jamie, Lindsay, Harmon, and Manny. Love her, and I can't ever diss her or a project she's involved with. No, if this was terrible, I'd say so. It's not. It's not terrible.
It does what it needs to do. Yeah.
Okay.
So question about, well, I wanted to tell you, you said Chad Michael Murray is in this, and he's kind of gotten a little resurgence as well. He's in this Netflix series called Sullivan's Crossing. And I think it's, how they tell you, oh, it's the most popular this week or what have you. So I think it's that Chad Michael Murray is making a bit of a resurgence.
Oh, well, good for him. I'm glad for him.
Yeah.
Doesn't help me or you, Kim, but
no,
okay.
It doesn't.
You go, Chad. All right. So here's a movie that would on the surface appeal to you, I think, but let me get into depth with it.
Okay.
The prestigious not prestigious, but prestige-ish dramedy. My Mother's Wedding is the first movie directed and co-authored by the fine British actress Kristen Scott Thomas. Oh, is so good as the MI6 spy master in Slow Horses. She was in the original Tom Cruise Mission Impossible. Gosford Park. She played Churchill's wife in Darkest Hour. Anyway, apparently Thomas was inspired by her own family situation, and also plays the mother in question here, whose three disparate daughters, played by Scarlett Johansson, Sienna Miller, and Emily Beecham, come together in the English countryside for Mom's third wedding. For all the love that Thomas surely put into this, it's kind of a mishmash. I mean, I didn't buy ScarJo in her role as a captain in the Royal Navy. That's right. She plays a Royal Navy captain and a lesbian, but, so be it. And I have to say, Miller as a self-aggrandizing movie star rang true, as did Beecham as a nurse. So 2 for 3. And again, Scarlett Johansson, she doesn't give bad performances. I just thought the casting was a little weird. But Thomas, the actress, is a delight whenever she's on screen. So she sort of balances things out in that way. And I thought, I mean, it's hard to come down on something that's, again, such a personal project. I thought the use of brief animated vignettes as flashbacks to when the three sisters were little and lost one dad and then another was certainly a choice. As Scarlett Johansson's character's significant other, Frida Pinto from Slumdog Millionaire, was good. As Sienna Miller's character's biggest suitor, because she's a movie star, and of course she gets a lot of attention from a lot of people. We have Thibault de Montalembert from Call My Agent. I'm glad he's getting work in English. Those are small parts that contribute to the story. Look, it wasn't bad, but when it was over, I felt like I had watched a somewhat schmaltzy co-production by BritBox and Lifetime. If that's not a particularly ringing endorsement from me, it might actually sound like one to a certain audience. I don't necessarily mean you, Kim, but I'm just saying.
Yes, you do.
My Mother's Wedding is in select theaters. I think you probably enjoy it to an extent.
I can wait for this one, I think, until it comes out on streaming options for free.
I think that's the way to go for people. Yeah, again, good God, I couldn't love Kristen Scott Thomas more as a member of the audience and what have you. But yeah, and it had moments, right? But they were purely charisma generated, I think.
BritBox and Lifetime, that's funny.
Let's get to some other stuff here.
Okay.
Produced in conjunction with a Christian college, Sketch is nonetheless a good all-ages film that does not get all holy roller or spiritual in its story, which happens to be about a bereaved husband and father named Wyatt and how his young daughter Amber and his son Jack deal with the aftermath of their mother's death. So Amber copes with grief by drawing these really dark sketches of monsters. But those sketches begin to terrorize her, her brother Jack, her fellow students, and most of the people in their small town. And so how does such a bizarre thing happen, you may ask? Well, Amber's sketchbook is unceremoniously tossed into a pond near their house by the brother, and the waters of the pond are apparently magical, bringing the girl's rough and, seriously creepy drawings to life. The special effects are creatively done as Amber's sketches emerge from the pond and cause real havoc. I got to say, the tech in this story, notably good, and it was truly a boon to cast comedy vets Tony Hale from Veep as the father, and Darcy Carden from The Good Place callback, as his sister, who was also a realtor trying to sell the family home in the wake of Mom's passing. Plus, the youthful actors playing Amber and Jack, Bianca Bell and Koo Lawrence, and particularly Bianca Bell, are not too obnoxious. And I got to say, Miss Bell implies Amber's pain without hammering it. It's not hammy in any way, shape, or form. Director and screenwriter Seth Worley has made a kind of an antic, occasionally frantic, sometimes funny, sometimes sad, and ultimately thoughtful and humane movie with Sketch. It is in theaters as of this week.
Would you call this a horror movie?
No, it's a family film. There are monsters, but they're kind of animated sketches come to life, and it's more amusing than scary. I think it's perfectly okay for kids of a certain age to watch this thing.
All right.
All right. I got to get the knives out. Do you mind? I got to get the knives out.
Bring it. Get them. Sharpen them up.
I've been too gentle with the mediocrity so far. Okay, so Ebony and Ivory is an excruciating, stretched out two-hander, ostensibly meant as a comedy about the collaboration of Paul McCartney and Stevie Wonder on the, get ready with the dinger, puerile, early 1980s call for brotherhood hit single, Ebony and Ivory. It imagines them coming together at Paul's seaside Scottish cottage, but bickering and blithering like, here's a classical reference, Vladimir and Estragon in Eugene Ionesco's absurdist play, Waiting for Godot.
I think we can ding you for that as well. That's a great reference. As
Sky Elobar's Paul and Gil Gex's Stevie go at one another in like increasingly repetitive fashion, Ebony and Ivory came off to me as brutally unfunny, which is not what you want from something billed as a comedy. Yikes. There are the tedious running gags about dope smoking, hot chocolate, the genius of these two icons, and a line of frozen breaded vegan foods made by Paul's wife. And none of these things earned more than a smirk and maybe a time check. I kept looking at, my phone. What time is it now? Come on. Anyway, the less said about a nude swim and its aftermath, the better. Apparently, Ebony and Ivory was made by the same guy who brought us the over-the-top serial killer comedy, The Greasy Strangler. And that would be screenwriter-director Jim Hosking. He made a movie titled An Evening with Beverly Luff Lynn that actually featured, get this, Aubrey Plaza, Matt Berry from What We Do in the Shadows, Emile Hirsch, Craig Robinson from The Office, and Jermaine Clement, but received what I would kindly call mixed reviews. So Ebony and Ivory does seem like the sort of out there weirdness that becomes a cult favorite. Or a midnight movie where people show up to revel in the awfulness and shout what passes for dialogue at the screen, Yeah, kind of a lesser Rocky Horror, maybe. I don't know. Anyway, spoiler alert, there is one protracted groan from the Stevie Wonder character that goes on for well over a minute, maybe longer.
God. Awful.
So look, a sense of humor is, as I say, subjective. But I wouldn't want to subject anyone to this, regardless of their sense of humor. Ebony and Ivory is in selected theaters and available for streaming on demand. Let's wrap up with something on Amazon Prime Video, The Pickup. Now, The Pickup is the new Eddie Murphy, Pete Davidson direct to Amazon Prime Video team up, where they play argumentative armored truck drivers targeted by crooks in a plan to steal millions of dollars. And I'm sorry to say that The Pickup earns a put down. The pace is sluggish. There's no comedic chemistry between these SNL vets from different decades. It's Murphy mobile phoning it in, and Davidson at his most feckless. At the high squat, pedestrian. Laughs, next to none. Keke Palmer plays a smart cookie with a grudge, and to a lesser extent, Eva Longoria, as the wife of Murphy's character, is on board, and they're much more interesting when on screen than the guys. Maybe the gals should do a mismatched buddy action comedy, but this ain't it. Casting note, Andrew Dice Clay plays the profanity-spewing dispatcher of the armored car company, adding very little to the proceedings. And here's something kind of intriguing. It's directed by the wildly inconsistent Tim Story. His good stuff, Barbershop, The Blackening, his mediocre stuff, the first two Fantastic Four movies, the remake of Shaft, and then there's the awful Ride Along, Taxi, Ride Along 2, Think Like a Man, Tom and Jerry. I got to say the pickup belongs on the negative side of his ledger. Again, it's on Amazon Prime.
Oh, what a bummer for the pickup. No can do. Well, speaking of streaming options, you have any other streaming items for us?
Well, TV stuff in general, I got to say how excited I am to see Wednesday back. The Addams Family inspired focus on the daughter of Morticia and Gomez, Wednesday Addams, played by Jenna Ortega, was a treat first time around. And now the second season, the first half of it dropped on Netflix. And I'm totally gobbling it up. Tim Burton is the executive producer, directed episode 1 of season 2. And of course, Wednesday is returning to Nevermore Academy, which is her parents' alma mater, where the weird and the wonderful go to get educated. The new principal of Nevermore Academy in season 2 here is Steve Buscemi, who is always wonderful. Nevermore's new music teacher is the lovely and talented Billie Piper, who got her start as an actress on Doctor Who and went on to be in Penny Dreadful and various other things. She's wonderful. Christopher Lloyd, who played an Uncle Fester in one of the remakes of The Addams Family, is here as a very strange new teacher at Nevermore. And Joanna Lumley plays Morticia's mom, Hester Frump. So they're all new in the cast, and it's got the same macabre hilarity as season 1 from the looks of it. Big thumbs up to Wednesday. Back and being like vile and macabre on Netflix. And, I would be remiss if I didn't say how much I have been enjoying I guess we'd call it the return of King of the Hill, with 10 new episodes on Hulu after, I don't know, almost 15 years. And this is season 14, but there's a big time jump, as one would maybe expect. Usually characters in animated shows are ageless, right? Bart Simpson is still, in elementary school, as is Lisa, for instance.
Sure.
But in King of the Hill, the Hills, Hank Hill, propane salesman, and his wife, Peggy, a substitute teacher, have gone off to Saudi Arabia, where he got a job with Aramco, doing his life's work and mission, selling propane and propane accessories. And they're finally back. They lived in kind of a very American community in Saudi Arabia. Their son, Bobby, is now 21, and he came back early to pursue his dream, which is to become a chef of a fusion restaurant, which he has opened in Dallas. It's a Asian German fusion. I guess the axis of flavor is what he refers to it as. And Japanese and German. Anyway, I got to tell you, most of the voice actors are back. We've lost a couple of them, unfortunately, and those characters don't show up. Brittany Murphy, who was the kind of shiftless niece, Luann. Brittany Murphy departed this mortal coil. Luann is not back, and her boyfriend, played by Tom Petty, Petty's gone. But most of the rest of the cast is back, and it's modern, and you see Hank and Peggy dealing with the changes in American culture, a lot of them digital, that have come into our everyday lives since they have been away. And it's kind of occasionally heartwarming too. Anyway, it's really good in my book. King of the Hill, back on Hulu.
Awesome. Thank you. All right, you want to do the recap?
You go.
All right. Weapons, the movie Weapons. You loved that Marvel movie actors all came together for this one. You said it's a fright fest and a mystery that slays. You liked Weapons. Freakier Friday, you called it good of kind. It does what it is meant to do. And you said it's not terrible. It's a good movie if you're looking for a diversion, but it's not winning any awards. This one. That was your thought of Freakier Friday.
It's totally product, Kim.
Yeah, and people will go see it. It's already, they're estimating it'll make a bunch of money at the box office. My Mother's Wedding, you said it's a mishmash with odd casting. You said it wasn't bad, but I love how you said it was kind of BritBox meets Lifetime. That is My Mother's Wedding. Sketch, you said it's funny and it's sad and it's thoughtful, and you really liked this one. Sketch, you recommend it as a family movie. Ebony and Ivory. Unfortunately, this is where the knives came out, and you said it's brutally unfunny. That the only reason people might like this movie is to celebrate its awfulness. You say, skip Ebony and Ivory, it's bad. The Pickup. It's on Amazon Prime, not in theaters, but you said it's slow pace. Chemistry is off here. It is not funny. This movie, no bueno. Avoid The Pickup. Even though it's streaming on Amazon Prime, don't click on that button.
No, it's a bit of a chore. It's not so much that it's slow moving, but it's just, it just, yeah, you want so much more. And again, kudos to Kiki Palmer and Eva Longoria, who do their best, but the guys just seem to check out.
As far as Wednesday, which has just come out, season 2, you're really liking it. You say, yes, watch this. And King of the Hill, season 14, after a really long hiatus, is back. You see, it's fun to see the cartoon characters age, and you're all for King of the Hill 2025 revival. And there you go.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's it.
Are we going to see sports this weekend? What are we doing this weekend?
Well, I will be tonight. I think I'm going to stay in for at least the first part of the evening to watch the Giants versus the Washington Nationals, which I can get here in Los Angeles. And then tomorrow it's the Art Gallery, Think Space, and I'll be dancing at Club TG for the Panther Club, that rock and soul revival DJ gig that I go to every so often. And speaking of music, I just have to do a little shout out to my man, Tom Kenny, the great comedian and voice actor. He's also a terrific band leader and singer. His group, Tom Kenny and the High Seas, totally rocked the Farmers Market and the Grove last night with an outdoor 2-set show that just had people dancing and cheering.
Wow.
Tom is the real deal, man. I love the man.
Fun. Well, in between all that dancing and sporting and museuming, find Michael Snyder at thevoicesf.org, where you can find his writings and musings. That's thevoicesf.org. Thank you, Michael Snyder. Appreciate you.
Very welcome. Back at you, Kim. We'll check in with you and Mark next week.
He comes and goes on a rainbow. Bye, Michael Snyder.
Bye.
Bye.